have always been a night owl. There is a specific kind of silence that only exists between the hours of 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock a.m. It's a heavy, thick silence where the world feels like it has stopped spinning just for a moment. About 5 years ago, I lived in a quiet city in the Pacific Northwest. I was an insomniac. While the rest of the city slept, I would find myself pacing around my apartment, restless, my mind racing with thoughts I couldn't silence. So I developed a habit. I started taking long walks. I'm not talking about a quick stroll around the block. I would walk for miles. I'd walk until my legs ached and the cold night air numbed my face. It was therapeutic. And all that time, 4 years of walking alone in the dead of night, I never felt afraid. I never felt threatened. The streets were my sanctuary. I used to joke that the only things out there with me were the stray cats and the occasional raccoon. I felt like the owner of the night. I felt invisible. But I was wrong. I wasn't the owner of the night. I was just a guest, and I wasn't alone. It was a Wednesday, I think, or maybe a Thursday. The air was particularly cold that night, the kind that bites at your exposed skin. I was walking down a particularly long avenue, the kind with sidewalks that seemed to stretch on forever into the darkness. It was dead silent. No cars, no wind, just the rhythmic tap, tap of my sneakers on the concrete. Then I saw him. At first, he was just a silhouette in the distance, maybe 300 yards away on the other side of the street. I squinted, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. It was a man, but he wasn't walking. He was dancing. It was a strange, rhythmic shuffle, like a waltz. He would take a step forward, then another, then do a little twirl. Step, step, twirl. Step, step, twirl. I stopped walking. My brain tried to rationalize it immediately. He's drunk, I told myself. Just some guy coming home from a bar, enjoying the music in his headphones. But there was no music. The street was completely silent, and he was moving with such strange, eerie grace. He was moving towards me. I decided to keep walking, but I stayed on my side of the street. I kept my eyes on him, fascinated but also feeling a tiny prick of unease in my stomach. The primal part of my brain was whispering, something is wrong. As we got closer to each other, the details of his appearance started to fade into view under the orange glow of the street lamps. He was tall, unnaturally tall, and lanky, like his limbs were just a little too long for his body. He was wearing an old-fashioned suit. It looked dusty, maybe gray or faded blue. It didn't fit him right. The pants were too short, revealing his ankles. He was still dancing. Step, step, twirl. He was getting closer. I slowed my pace. My heart began to beat a little faster against my ribs. Thump, thump, thump. When he was about 50 feet away, I finally saw his face. and that's when the blood turned to ice in my veins. He wasn't looking at me. His head was tilted back, facing the night sky, as if he were admiring the stars. His neck looked like it was craning back too far, almost broken. But it was his mouth that terrified me. He was smiling. It wasn't a happy smile. It was a wide, impossible, cartoonish grin. It stretched from ear to ear, showing too many teeth. It looked painful, like his face was frozen in a rictus of madness. And his eyes, even though his head was tilted back, I could feel that his eyes were rolled down, locking onto me. Panic, pure cold panic. I didn't want to pass him. I didn't want to be anywhere near him. I decided to cross the street. I needed to put distance between us. I turned abruptly and walked quickly to the other side of the road. I didn't run, I didn't want to provoke him, but I walked fast. I reached the other sidewalk and turned my head to check on him, hoping he had just kept dancing down his path. He hadn't. The moment I crossed the street, he had stopped dancing. He was now standing perfectly still on the other side, mirroring my position. He was facing me. That smile, that damn smile was still plastered on his face. He stood there like a statue in a graveyard, watching me. I started walking again, faster this time. I didn't look back. I forced my eyes forward, focusing on the dark road ahead, telling myself just keep walking. Don't engage. Just get home. I walked for half a block. The silence was deafening. I couldn't hear his footsteps anymore. Maybe he had stayed there. Maybe he was gone. I couldn't resist. I had to look. I glanced over my shoulder. He was moving again, but he wasn't dancing anymore. He was crouched down slightly, taking massive, exaggerated tiptoe steps, like a cartoon character trying to sneak up on someone. But he was moving fast, and he was dead silent. I stopped dead in my tracks. I couldn't help it. The sheer absurdity and horror of it froze me in place. The moment I stopped, he stopped. He was about 30 feet away now. He stood there on one leg mid-step, balancing perfectly. He was still smiling that wide, hateful smile toward the sky. Then slowly, agonizingly slowly, he lowered his head. For the first time, our eyes met. His eyes were wide, unblinking, rimmed with red. He looked completely insane. He didn't say a word. He didn't scream. He just stood there, vibrating with this chaotic energy. Then he did something that still haunts my nightmares. He slowly raised a hand and waved. But he didn't wave hello. He waved his fingers like he was beckoning a dog. What the hell do you want? I screamed. My voice cracked. It sounded small and pathetic in the empty street. He didn't answer. He just kept smiling. Then, without warning, he broke into a sprint. It wasn't a normal run. He was sprinting toward me with that same tiptoe motion, his arms flailing, his head thrown back again. He was fast, inhumanly fast. I turned and ran. I ran like I had never run in my life. I didn't care about looking cool. I didn't care about the silence. I pumped my arms, gasping for air, my sneakers slapping hard against the pavement. I didn't look back. I was terrified that if I looked back, I would see that face inches from mine. I could hear his footsteps now light. Rapid pat, 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 pat sounds behind me, gaining ground. I made it to my apartment complex. I scrambled up the stairs, my hands shaking so violently I dropped my keys twice. I could feel him behind me. I could feel his breath on my neck. I finally jammed the key into the lock, threw the door open, and slammed it shut behind me. I locked the deadbolt. I locked the chain. I collapsed against the door, sliding down to the floor, gasping for air, my heart hammering like it was going to explode out of my chest. I waited. I listened. I expected to hear him pounding on the door. I expected to hear him screaming or laughing, but there was nothing, just the silence. I stayed by that door until the sun came up. I watched the shadows under the crack of the door, waiting for them to move. They never did. I never saw the smiling man again. I stopped taking my night walks after that. I bought a treadmill. Sometimes late at night when the insomnia hits and the house is quiet, I find myself looking out the window at the empty street below. I wonder where he is. I wonder if he's still out there, dancing in the dark, smiling at the stars, waiting for someone else to join him. And the scariest part isn't that I saw a ghost or a monster. It's that I saw a man. Just a man. And I have no idea what he wanted. So if you are ever walking alone at night and you see someone dancing in the distance, don't stop. Don't look. Just run.